All right, everybody. Now's the time. It is time to put in the final bids for who's going to win tomorrow night at the 78th, if I remember right, Golden Globes. It's 78. It's one of those upper numbers there. Anyway, so we'll go ahead and run down the list here. Since we kind of talked about these not way too long ago, I think for the most part we're covered here as far as, okay, who's up to win and all that. Is it going to be close here or there, all that stuff. So we'll go ahead and get started here we'll work our way kind of up there, starting with the music categories, and then we'll work our way up. Okay, so for Best Song, I am going to stick with the favorite right now, and that is Speak Now from One Night in Miami. It's a good way to award Leslie Odom Jr. and the film itself. As I just spit all over myself, that's nice. Seeing it's up for director and stuff, but it's not up for any other actors. It's not up for screenplay. It's not up for picture. So it's a good way to award the film. It's one. Again, it's gonna be possibly, I think, as we go through the season here, as long as it does all right on Oscar morning and stuff, I think it's gonna be one that it's gonna stick around and might end up winning at least one Oscar, maybe two, at the end of the day. So I think it's one that'll stick around this award season. That's a good way to award it. And Leslie Odom is also a nominee, so it's a good way to award him. The score category, as I've seen a few people talking about this one. Historically, the animated films do not do well here, but I'm going to buck that trend this year and go with Soul. I really don't think, it's possible they could go Mank because, it is the most nominated film here, and it's two of the same composers on Mank as in Soul. That's Ross and Reznor there. So, obviously that's a good way to award that both of them in a way where it's like, okay, they like something a little better there. But it's like Tenet, it's the only nomination. Midnight Sky, it's the only nomination. News of the World, other than supporting actress, it's the only nomination. So I don't see a lot of support for those films. And Mank, if they want to award it elsewhere, they can do it in a different category. And we could see an upset, by the way, in animated feature, but Soul seems to have that one too. But I don't know. I feel like going with the safe pick here as well. I've got a couple of upsets coming up here where I change stuff around the last minute here. Okay, foreign language film up next. This one I feel it's a legit three-way race here. I think Life Ahead, which also has a nomination in song, is in there. Another Round could become the Oscar favorite to win since Minari is not going to be eligible at pretty much every award going forward for the televised stuff. So if they want to try to predict what's going to win at the Oscars, they can go with Another Round. But since Minari, even though it doesn't have any other support, like it didn't land any acting nominations or director or anything, or even screenplay, I do think that since there is such a large, buzz around the film and stuff, and it could end up being the second or third most nominated film Oscar morning, and actually might have a path to Best Picture at this point, they might want to go with it to win here because obviously Parasite. That was the only way they could predict Parasite to win Best Picture last year was by giving it foreign language film. So if Minari all of a sudden gets that same trajectory, then that's a way to say, look, we got Best Picture right because we picked it for foreign language film. So that's why I'm going with that. All right, then animated feature. Again, I think it's Soul. They could go Wolfwalkers here. They could even go with something like Over the Moon since that's one that'll be widely seen on Netflix and stuff. But I don't know. I just feel like Soul is too much of a slam dunk here. Of course, Toy Story 4 felt like a huge slam dunk last year in the same category, but they went with Missing Link. So again, there is a chance here, but I think because it's actually been a little while since they've given it to a Pixar film. I think Coco was the last one here for animated film. So even though we're more used to Pixar films winning, if it's not something like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or a couple of those other ones there, like Zootopia and a few of the other Disney ones in the past, I think this one they'll go Pixar. Okay, screenplay up next. This is one where I'm predicting a little bit of a share of the wealth thing. I'm going to go with The Father here. And I know it's in last place on Gold Derby, and most people are not really highly considering it here, but look, The Father, it doesn't have the director nomination, but it has 2 acting nominations in picture. It got to picture over stuff like One Night in Miami and Ma Rainey's. Now, obviously, The Father had the screenplay nomination. Ma Rainey's also did not. So, and that one was only acting. But still, I think they go with this one for a couple reasons. Number one, I mean, it could easily be, and I was predicting Trial of the Chicago 7, but Aaron Sorkin, he's already won twice. One of those was more recently for Steve Jobs. Now, keep in mind, Tarantino last year, he just picked up his third writing win here at the Globe, so it's not impossible to put Aaron Sorkin up there on the same level as Tarantino for writing awards. I didn't look at the long history, so I don't know if they've ever given anybody else more writing awards here at the Globes or not. Maybe that is the most, or it's tied with, so many other writers out there. But that's a possibility for sure. And if it does end up winning picture, and they take, because screenplay, picture, and an acting prize all lined up last year with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So that easily could happen again here, because I have Chicago 7 winning the other two of those. I have it winning supporting actor now and picture drama. Not to spoil those, but we'll get into it. So that one could, very easily win and line up with screenplay. But that being said, The Father, does have, those other nominations there. And I don't think Olivia Colman's going to win supporting actress. I would frankly be really shocked if she did, because I can't think of another time where an actor, depending, on everything else here, or an actress in any case, gets 4 Globe wins. In such a quick fashion there, because she won for Night Manager, then she won for The Favorite, then she won for The Crown last year on the TV side. Now she's up again for The Crown and for this. And I think both times she's going to lose here. I do not see them being, going over even stuff like, I've mentioned several times, Jennifer Lawrence winning 3 Globes in the space of 4 years and stuff. I don't see them doing that with Olivia Colman. This is, I think, and then Anthony Hopkins, even though he's never won a Globe before, I think they are going to go with Chadwick in that category. And what really helps, and I'll talk about that as well when we get to it, but there's another aspect I think that helps Chadwick win that. And I don't see it winning drama picture, so this is the only way to award it. And keep in mind, this is the only one of these 5 films in this category, because it's The Father, Chicago 7, Promising Young Woman, Nomadland, and Mank. It's the only one that doesn't have a director nomination, but guess who the director is? The screenwriter, Florian Zeller. So guess who they can award, even though he's not nominated in director? Florian Zeller. And one other thing, it might be just a little bit of a superstition I have, and maybe a little bit of, a little too much inside baseball there for Globe voters, but they just had, I saw it on YouTube, I watched most of it, I just kind of skipped through some of them, but they had a panel on, as a kind of way to mingle, so they were all over Zoom or something. It was only like 20 minutes, it was like pretty brief. But they had, a good number of TV nominees, a good number of film nominees, and not just stars, by the way, who are in front of the camera, but some behind the camera as well. And the only one of the screenplay nominees, if I'm remembering correctly, the only one who even has a film up for drama picture who showed up to represent, Amanda Seyfried showed up, and she's nominated for Mank, and I think that's it from all those, because, Francis, nobody from Nomadland was there, nobody else from Chicago 7. It was only like 16, like maybe 20 people tops. It was in that range. It was like 4 boxes, and it went so far. The only one to show up was Florian Zeller. And of course, obviously, this was probably done close to the time the voting was over, or right before, or right after voting was over. But if there was anybody last second who's like, well, look, he's going out of his way to help, to help us out with this, and all that. It's like, there might be just enough voters who see that and say, oh, here, I'll put him down. I'll put him down for screenplay or something, because, and if The Father, again, I can see it going on to win screenplay prizes at BAFTA, Oscars, maybe even Critics' Choice. It could be the one that wins adapted there. So keep all that in mind. And then the only other one I can see upsetting is Promising Young Woman, since it does have actress, picture, director, and this prize, screenplay. That is otherwise probably not going to get awarded through the night, where the director's not going to get up there, because I don't think Emerald Fennell's going to win director. Carrie winning, if she wins actress, which I have her doing, that's just her. And Emerald Fennell, I don't think the film's going to win drama, so unless it's a crazy, Bohemian Rhapsody style win, but I don't see it coming. So unless they want to personally award Emerald Fennell in that way, because Aaron Sorkin will accept for picture if Trial Chicago 7 wins. So I think it's possible, and it is just a hip enough screenplay. They might go with it. Birdman won here a few years ago, and that kind of seemed like a more hip screenplay in that way. So it's entirely possible. But I'm going with the upset on that one. All right, then going over to the acting prizes here, the supporting races. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Amanda Seyfried here for supporting actress for Mank. It's most likely, other than score, maybe the only other way they can award the film, because I don't have Fincher directing. I don't think it's going to win film. It's not going to win actor. So, and director, I don't think so. I mentioned that one. Sorry. What's the other nomination? Screenplay. Yeah, screenplay. I don't have. And I think there's going to be too much split voting that goes on there, because Jodie Foster, it's a way to award that film, The Mauritanian, which also has a key nomination in lead actor, but I don't see it happening, because Glenn Close is also going to be strong, and if there's all of a sudden, again, a narrative like we saw a couple years ago, for Glenn Close to win, then they could pick her again. I mean, she's won a couple other Globes for TV in the past, so it's not like they haven't awarded her already, and those TV ones are more spread apart. The Wife is fairly recent. I think a lot of Globe voters remember that one. So I think there's going to be enough vote splitting between her, the fans that will vote for Olivia Colman, and then the ones who vote for Jodie. I think there will be enough there that Amanda Seyfried can clear it. And again, she was the only one of these actresses, other than Helena Zengel, that show up on that Zoom conference type deal. So that, I mean, obviously that could just be a thing that, nobody takes to the bank, and it's like, yeah, again, you have to be maybe a little bit superstitious to say that, oh, obviously anybody who showed up there is going to win, but it's like, yeah, I won't go that far, but I think, there might be just enough there, and it's like, she might be the rare one, kind of like Aaron Taylor Johnson, that wins that a category like that in acting that doesn't even get nominated at the Oscars down the road, but it's possible. Let's see, then supporting actor. This is where I made the change and I put Sacha Baron Cohen in, and here's my reasoning on it. I had Leslie Odom just as a kind of a front runner there, just kind of as a safe pick, but I'm like, I don't know. They didn't give it. They'll give him song, very likely, I think. I don't see them giving him 2 Globes in one night, because Lady Gaga couldn't even do it for A Star Is Born. She only got song. There was one other example, and I forgot what it was, but it's a very kind of similar case there, where it's like they were expected to get 2 Globes, and I was like, oh, I remember it was one recent because I predicted it, but I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was somebody who would win both TV and film, but it was something like that. Now, of course, the threat there, of course, is if Sacha does win supporting, he could go on to win lead actor for Borat. We'll get to that category in a minute here, but remember, Trial of Chicago 7, as many people have kind of acclaimed it over the year here, a lot of them say it's, acting tour de force, the big, camaraderie of it. It's probably, the heavy front runner to win for the SAG Ensemble Prize, unless they want to go with something like Minari or something else there. But, I think he's also one of the standouts of the cast. He's like the most humorous person in the cast. So I think that'll definitely get them excited there. Like Alicia Vikander, she won supporting she was nominated in 2 categories there that night at the Globe. She didn't win either one, but she went on to win the Oscar there. And then was there one other one that year? I can't remember. No, I think she was the only one there. So it's, sometimes getting that double nomination helps you, sometimes it doesn't, but Sacha, I think he's got to win at least one. Obviously, the one that everybody brings to mind is, what about Kate Winslet? She won 2 Globes in one night. For both Revolutionary Road and for The Reader. But I don't know. That's a rare one. I can't think. I didn't have time to do the full research there, but I don't think that's ever happened again in history. So, anyways, but I think Leslie Odom is actually in 3rd place. I think 2nd place, though, is Daniel Kaluuya, who could easily be a big upset here. Because Judas and the Black Messiah, even though box office wise it's not doing so hot, obviously with COVID, obviously it wasn't going to open like we were talking about a couple weeks ago. It wasn't going to open with 30, 40, 50 million or, be a big boom opening like that. But even then, I thought it should at least win the weekend there that it opened, and if it did, it's like conflicting sources, but pretty much everybody looked back at it afterwards and got the numbers, and it was the Croods. So it didn't win then, and had a huge drop last weekend. I don't expect it to do super heavy business this weekend. It's kind of been a box office disappointment that way, even on a COVID scale in some ways. But that being said, it's still hitting, and it's very, very popular with critics. The fans that have seen it have really liked it, so it's kind of hitting that steam just about the right time as far as the voters go. He is a past nominee for Get Out, so that's one to keep in mind. And he might, as some people pointed out here, he might go on to start winning this category over and over again, because he's up at Critics' Choice, up at SAG, very likely will be up at BAFTA. He could just kind of shoot through the whole season and win everything. So again, if the Globes are in that spot where let's predict somebody who's going to win the whole thing, there you go. That's a very possible outcome there. So I mean, I was kind of torn on it, but I'm like, I think they'll want to give Chicago 7 an acting prize just because it is such an acting movie, and it's like literally the only way they can do that is Sacha Baron Cohen here. So that's that one. Okay, so going on to the lead categories here for acting, comedy actress. Yeah, that one's Maria Bakalova. I think that one's almost a certain done deal. Some people have been speculating about Michelle Pfeiffer, possibly Rosamund Pike upsetting, but I think Maria's got it. So this is where I might be off the rails here. The comedy actor prize. I'll tell you what. A lot of people, if they don't have Sasha, they have Lin Manuel Miranda. I have neither winning. I have Andy Samberg in a huge upset here. Now, hear me out. Palm Springs is, like the other two nominees here, it's up for Best Film. It's also recently landed a WGA prize. Or nomination, I should say. Sorry, not prize. They haven't given those out yet. It also, for Contemporary, got in for Art Directors Guild. It also, it's gotten plenty of notices across the board. This is a film that's sticking around. It's very popular. And also keep in mind, too, Andy Samberg, a previous Golden Globe host. So the Globes like him. And his, if his film wasn't up, I think I would definitely, he would be, way down there for me. But I don't know. I think this is one where Sasha, if they want to give him supporting actor, they can do it there. Lin Manuel Miranda, Hamilton, since it is kind of a, I haven't seen it, but it's a stage show. Basically, just they put the camera down and they do the stage show over again. I think there might be enough Globe voters where it's like, yeah, we'll nominate it, but I don't think we're going to give it anything. So, and Lin Manuel might easily end up winning this, but I don't know. I just suspect that they're not going to give Hamilton anything. So that leaves Andy Samberg, and it's like, I can just see a big upset with that happening. Again, as I said kind of earlier on in the season here, I'm like, this could very easily be a Globes that's primed for upsets here. So I'm going with one there. And just for fun, I might look at it later here, but actually on the TV side, I have the opposite happening, because a lot of people on the TV side think it's just going to be Schitt's Creek for series, actor, and actress, but I have the flip here, flip on the TV side, where I have Schitt's Creek winning actor and series, but I have Catherine O'Hara losing to Kaylee Cuoco, who's got a new show out. They really love new TV stuff here at the Globe, so I think, and then a lot of people, though, have it flipped where Ted Lasso wins, Jason Sudeikis wins for lead actor, and that's very possible, and it could be just Schitt's Creek series, and then the other two go with more recent fare, but I don't know. The TV ones are always ones where I'm like, I just kind of throw them out there. Anyways, let's move on to the drama categories here for acting. Drama actress, I think this is the place Promising Young Woman is going to get rewarded, so that's Carey Mulligan. And I think Viola and Frances McDormand, I think both are kind of splitting votes there, and yeah, I mean, it could be a case where they just think Viola's going to win, so they put her out, but it's like, I don't know, I think there's enough steam behind it, and obviously Ma Rainey's only has this and Chadwick nominated, so there wasn't a ton support there. And then Frances, if Nomadland does end up winning for drama film, that could be a way to award her, because she is a producer on the film, so technically she kind of gets awarded part of that, but yeah, and obviously, Chloe, if she does happen to win for director as well, and she accepts for film drama for Nomadland, she I think likely would give, as long as Frances is there, if they can do something, then they would give her the mic. And in a traditional year, they would be on stage there, but we'll figure out, because a lot of the Globe voters are organizers and stuff. They're saying, nope, everybody stay at home, don't gather with your crew or anything. It's like, I don't know. We'll see how many people listen to that, but or how strictly they enforce that. But yeah. Anyway, and obviously, again, that would be more like a regular year thing. So I don't know who would speak if it's Nomadland for picture, if they just have Chloe accept again or not. But we'll see. Okay, for lead actor drama, I am going to stick with Chadwick here. Obviously, Anthony Hopkins is a big threat here since he has never won a Globe before, and it depends. It's like, how up to date are the voters on that? How much have they been paying attention? There is a possibility, some people definitely highlighted it, that Hopkins and Chadwick could both kind of split votes, and we see somebody like Riz Ahmed win. But I think I would believe that more if Sound of Metal had a stronger vote here, because it's only got this one nomination. Paul Raci couldn't get in. It couldn't get into film drama. Obviously it's kind of crowded category, since virtually every Oscar expected Best Picture nominee is in the drama race this year. It was going to be tough for Sound of Metal to get in, but yeah, I think Riz Ahmed, he's a solid third, but I don't see him winning here. And I think this is what I was going to talk about earlier with Chadwick. I think what really helps him here is he's only nominated in this category. He's not in for Da 5 Bloods, which again I think really could pose a problem for him later on, unless they go with the whole he just wins everything, kind of like the Heath Ledger with the posthumous wins across the board there. Because down the road here, as we get to Critics' Choice and we get to SAG and we get to possibly BAFTA even, those nominations will be out next week. Like a week from Monday, or Tuesday there, sorry. A week from Tuesday, we'll have the BAFTA nominations out finally. But what could really hurt Chadwick is if the voters are split, they're like, okay, we want to give Chadwick something. Let's vote him in supporting, and then we can give lead actor to somebody else. And then enough voters say, look, Chadwick's going to win lead actor, let me give it to somebody else in supporting. And it's like enough of those votes offset, he could end up he could end up losing both categories. And again, more often than not, if you're nominated twice in the same category, you lose. It's not more often to win. I think Jamie Foxx, being the last one to win, that's the rare exception, So I think it does hurt more than it helps to have the two nominations. So I think Chadwick is only nominated here. The only place they can award him is here. And I think if Ma Rainey's, half of its nominations come in this category. So I think it will be kind of a case where it's like, okay, yeah, we'll just give it to Chadwick here. And it would be really weird, though, just kind of to name it off here, because some people mention this as a possibility. What if Viola wins, but Chadwick does not? That would be a weird thing. Because, I mean, Viola is just fine in the film, and I think, it's a good performance and everything. Is it her absolute best? I don't think so. Not as good as Fences, not as good as The Help, stuff like that, but, that would be a weird case if they gave it to Anthony Hopkins and then Viola upsets Carey Mulligan. They're an actress, but I don't know. That would be a weird scenario. Okay, so let's go to the director race. Yeah, Chloe Zhao, I think pretty, not wide open, but pretty much has this one. Anybody else here would be a big upset, and yeah, Chloe. I mean, I've seen plenty of articles here in the last couple weeks, but yeah, she's winning more critics' prizes for director than anybody in history for this year. So, yeah, I don't see them going any other way here. Okay, for the Comedy Musical Film Prize, again, some people are split here whether it's going to be Hamilton or Borat. They might just give it to Hamilton from the popularity of it and stuff, but I think Borat, I think it's one where they're going to give it a lead acting prize almost regardless, whether it's Sasha or if somebody upsets Maria. One of those two I think would win. It'd be weird if Michelle won, Andy Samberg or Lin Manuel won, and then they gave it film. That'd be a weird combination. But yeah, I think it's Borat on that one. And then film drama, I'm gonna stick with Trial of the Chicago 7, but with the caveat that I could very easily be wrong here because Nomadland. We'll see if it's as we mentioned a few times here this season. Boyhood, remember, was the projected front runner at this point. At this point, Nomadland, by most odds, is still ahead. Some people have put Trial of Chicago 7 ahead. I have it ahead to win now for Best Picture. I never had Nomadland to win, but with that one, I think Chicago 7 is picking up steam here. It could, if it performs very, very well at BAFTA, it could all of a sudden get into the conversation to be one of the more nominated films Oscar morning. Not leading nominations, but at least second or third best. I think it has a good chance to hit that mark there. So, and that's, again, coming at a good time here. And I think Chicago 7, again, it kind of feels like that kind of safe choice here, because Nomadland could be, again, like I've been trying to say here, like Boyhood, it's like Boyhood was ahead to win, so they just had it win. And they got burned that year because Grand Budapest Hotel won for picture comedy, and it was like Birdman was our Best Picture winner later that year. But, yeah. And I've heard there's some rumblings that Promising Young Woman could kind of be that Bohemian Rhapsody level upset, possibly, because it's the only one that we know the box office figures for of all these 5 films, and it's it's done for a small movie like it has. It wasn't really expected to be a huge hit, even with all theaters open, but for it to get the total it has, it's still a pretty respectable result there from Focus Features. So the only thing I was kind of worried about this a little bit, I was like, how much are they going to give Netflix? And I'm like, okay, Trial of Chicago 7, Chadwick winning would be 2, Mank and supporting actor with Sacha Baron for Trial is 4, and then So I was kind of like, okay, could they give it 5 if it also wins screenplay, or if it takes, one of these other ones? I was like, yeah, I kind of looked at it. I'm like, well, actually, we've got, I kind of looked at it in the past here. If you go back to 2017, the year of Three Billboards, Shape of Water, a Fox type film won 7 film categories, half the awards that night. So I was like, I'll hedge my bets a little bit there by giving it 4. Otherwise, Amazon, I think, is looking at a pretty solid night here, because they'll have the stuff for One Night in Miami. They'll have the stuff for the Borat wins. I forget, Palm Springs, is that Universal or something? I forget. And I know it's not a Netflix thing, but it's or is that one Amazon too? That one's Hulu. So that one, anything that Nomadland gets, that kind of goes with the Hulu, Disney, Fox, all the other all the things that Juggernaut has. So so that one would get a good number there, presumably, because I think Nomadland and then Soul has 2 wins here, and then it could win Picture too. So that's 3 or 4, or maybe 5. And then Focus I have winning, probably just that one there. I don't think I have that one. Because, I mean, again, historically, that's why I'm kind of going through this at the Globes. We kind of see them really like to give each major studio something. But, I think really the only one that might be left in the dust here that does have a good number of nominations, I'm looking through, it's like, really none of these. I mean, Disney, I mean, if Hamilton wins, that's another one for them. Netflix, The Prom could be a surprise winner. I don't really think so, but if it could even get Maryland, I'm not taking it too seriously. So, I don't know. I mean, there are some possibilities there for Netflix to win both film categories, several acting categories. Yeah, I don't think they'd go that far overboard. See, I don't really think any of these are like ones where they go totally empty-handed. I mean, Universal just has a couple in there for the News of the World nominations. Warner Brothers, I mean, it just has a couple nominations there for like Judas and the Black Messiah. The Little Things is a Warner Brothers one, so they might not win anything. They won a couple with Joker last year, but yeah. Anyway, so that's that one there. I mean, that's what I've got for now for that. But let's see, on the TV side, I think I'm sticking with, just for fun, I'll just go into this for a second. I'm usually pretty quiet about what I say at the TV awards, 'cause I'm always afraid I'm going to say what they are, and then it's like the exact opposite happens. I'm going to look like a fucking idiot. Because everybody's like, how could you get that one wrong? I'm like, I don't know. I don't watch all the shows, so I don't know. But I think, as far as this category, I think The Crown looks like it's in good shape to win at least 2 or 3. Schitt's Creek should win 2 or 3. Possibly a little bit more, depending on the supporting categories there. Otherwise, Queen's Gambit should win a couple there. Ozark might get a couple wins. Like I said, the Kaley Cuoco one is probably the most radical one that I have winning on the TV side. Other than, I have Brendan Gleeson winning for playing Trump as Trump on the Comey Rule, but that's really just because I think the rest of that category is going to be so split. John Boyega, I think it's the only nomination for small acts other than the series category. So they might award it there, but it's like, I don't know, that might split with, because Dan Levy, he's Dan Levy, Eugene Levy's son, on Schitt's Creek. It's like, that's another popular one, and Schitt's Creek totally swept all the Emmys this last year, I know. In the supporting category, it's like Julia Garner's a threat, Annie Murphy is a threat. But I don't know, Gillian Anderson as Thatcher might be too much for the Crown there. I think Mark Ruffalo's ahead to win his category. Yeah, the Ted Lasso, Jason Sudeikis thing, I have both of those losing, but one of those could easily win. Yeah. And then, Ozark, I have Jason Bateman winning. Emma Corrin I have winning over Olivia Colman and a few of the other ones there in lead actress drama. I don't know. I think maybe because Killing Eve is not up for series, but Ratched is, and that's Sarah Paulson. I know that one was a Netflix one. It kind of came and went. And obviously The Crown having 2 nominations here. It might split just enough for her to win, but I'm like, that would be a really left field one, by the way. So I wouldn't totally say that's impossible. And then Bob Odenkirk was one I kind of had an eye on for a while there for drama actor. I had Matthew Rhys out front early, but Perry Mason didn't get into drama series, so that doesn't usually fare well for them. But Yeah, otherwise, they used to go with the movie stars here, and obviously Jason Bateman's a movie star. Um, Eugene Levy is a movie star. Mark Ruffalo's a movie star. Anya Taylor-Joy is now a superstar in the movies, and Brendan Gleeson is as well. So it's like quite a few of them I have winning otherwise. Um, so Al Pacino was one I know in the drama actor series. Some people thought, but it's like that's another one that's not up for series either. But yeah, I don't know. I always kind of just throw in a couple of things here and there for the TV stuff, and then just kind of call it good. But all right. So yeah, let's cut it off there. I will be back tomorrow night after the Globes are over. We'll discuss what won, what lost, what could possibly happen at the Oscars going forward after the Globes wins. Anything else that I really need to cover right now? I don't think so. We've got... we'll start getting a little more gung-ho about Critics' Choice here as far as the winners, because their show is going to be a week from Sunday. And then after that, like I said, we'll have BAFTA nominations. PGA, DGA should be right after that. The Oscar nominations will be the week after that. Yeah, so we'll get busier here. SAG Awards aren't for a little while yet. BAFTA awards are presented in mid-April, a week before the Oscars. And then, WGA will be later in March. PGA, DGA wins. I think that's reserved for late March, early April. So, yeah. Yep, otherwise we'll kind of see as more of the guilds trickle in, we'll see which ones are kind of staying popular there. Right now, I think one sign, it could be a mixed sign because, again, I'm not so sure about it at the Oscars, but Promising Young Woman does have a nomination at the Art Directors Guild for Contemporary, is up for, is it one? I think it's at least one makeup prize. It might be two, actually. Promising, let me see. Hold on. I think I misspelled it. Two prizes at the makeup guilds. Yeah, just makeup and art directors are the only ones I've seen so far. But, yeah. I don't know, because you always have to pay at least a little bit of attention to the guilds here as far as who might be ahead to get nominated or who's even a surprise nominee who you might see going to the Oscars. At this rate, just from really quick, I'll just talk about this because the makeup category, we've covered in other videos and stuff, but Pinocchio is up, I believe, for makeup at the Oscars. I have that one to win special makeup, so yeah, that's one I might throw in here later on. Let me see here. It made the shortlist, didn't it? Because I think I have it getting nominated for makeup at the BAFTAs. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah, I think I do. But yeah, I don't have it in right now at the Oscars. I have like Birds of Prey and The Glorias, but Pinocchio's on there, yeah, and it's pretty high up there on the IndieWire list, I know. So I know a couple people are predicting that one. Otherwise, the Art Directors Guild, yeah, like I said, Promising Young Woman scored a contemporary nomination. Otherwise, I think the rest of the nominees, I mentioned the Palm Springs one. That one was kind of a shocker for contemporary, but it's like, well, you look at the rest of the list, it's like, the rest of them are not huge heavy hitters aside. And, Promising Young Woman is, but Defy Bloods is also in there. But like the Prom, I don't think it's going way too far at the Oscars. The period ones, they might just be the ones in the category. Just Emma was the only one that missed there that I was a little surprised by. But yeah, Mank should easily be in there. I might even switch that over to win at the Oscars. Ma Rainey's is in there. News of the World, Mulan, and Chicago 7 were the five. So and Chicago 7 is not eligible for the makeup hair at the Oscars. I just had this open for makeup hair. How did Chicago 7 do all right there? I don't think did it get anything? It got nothing. Okay. I was going to say, I'm like, another one, if it does really, because some people look back in retrospect, it's like Shape of Water, I think, didn't miss a single guild that year. I think The Revenant was also very close in that category. It might have missed like one or two guilds, but otherwise got into everything else. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that for Chicago 7 or some of these other ones like possibly Chicago 7. I'm trying to think who else possibly could get into all the guilds. I mean, Ma Rainey's is possible there as well, but trying to think, would that miss like the Costume Guild would be a very safe bet, but I was thinking of a guild that it would not get into, but now I can't think of it. The Sound Guild, I think it'll get into the Sound Guild. I think that one should be pretty easy there. Trying to think because I was thinking about this the other day about who else will get a ton of guild nominations through the year here. The Father I think will struggle a little bit. News of the World, maybe that was the one I was thinking of. Yeah, that one I can see getting just about every guild it can. But what was the one for Ma Rainey's? The Editors, Editors Guild, that might be a tougher one. Sound Guild. Well, obviously, visual effects, I don't think so. No, that might be the one place it misses too, because it's, I mean, even for supporting effects, it's not an effects-heavy film. So, yeah. All right. Yeah, I think I've babbled on enough. Let's go ahead and shut this down, and we will be back tomorrow night. We'll discuss the winners and losers at the Globes. How about that? We'll see how. I mean, it's obviously a weird year, and we say that every year. It's like, oh, it's a weird year because last year was the shortest voting period we've seen in Oscar history. I think that I'm aware of. Since they've done the modern style, obviously way back in the day, they would pick them out, and then a couple days later they'd have the ball, and everybody would already know who'd won and stuff. But since the modern template of that, we hadn't seen a shorter schedule like we had last year. By this time last year, the Oscars were like 2 weeks in the rear view or something. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, I think it was actually closer to 3 weeks, because I remember the Super Bowl. I mean, it's always the first weekend of February for the most part, I think. It was the week after the Super Bowl was the Oscars, and it was like, then things kind of got crazy after that. But but it's like, that's closer to almost 3 weeks in the rearview mirror if we put it in perspective, because last year was a leap year, we had an extra day in there. But and it's like we're still 2 weeks away from the Oscar nominations. It will be 2 weeks from Monday. We'll know who the nominees are. So. Okay, that's what I got for now, so we will catch up with everybody later. Good luck to everybody predicting. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you're out there predicting yourself. Okay, am I nuts on like the Andy Samberg and the Father predictions for where I have them? Am I right on the money? Do you see them as possible upsets? Do you have somebody like Daniel Kaluuya or Leslie Odom winning supporting? Do you have Sacha Baron Cohen winning both or one or neither? How about Promising Young Woman? Is that a big upset? Bohemian Rhapsody, possible upset? Like I said, it'll be a weird year. A lot of these categories do have it's a this or this or this. It's a very up in the air feel there. So we'll have some hopefully very civil discussions there for the Globes there, and it'll be interesting to see the show tomorrow night too, because and I didn't want to bring this up because it's very not relevant to who wins, but with all the articles, all the coverage we've seen in the last week with the history of the diversity amongst the voters there at HFPA. Well, it'll be interesting to see how they react to it on the show, because they've already mentioned, I feel like I should have set this camera angle a little bit lower, but oh well. It feels like they've been really out of their way this week to say, oh no, we're going to say something about it. We're definitely going to capitalize on it. We're going to make sure going forward all that. It'll be interesting to see what the reaction is to that, how they handle it on the show, how much time they spend on it, and all that. I'm sure, even though it's a everybody's at home type year, I'm sure we'll see the president of HFPA, whose name I'm forgetting, but maybe she was on that one video I watched the other day, maybe. But yeah, I'm sure she'll come out and talk all about it, because they always do I remember the one year, the guy, he just passed away, actually not that long ago, but the Italian guy who ran it was the head of the HFPA for like 4 or 5 years or something. I remember he came out one year during his annual address and all that, where usually the head of the HFPA also introduces who the ambassadors are, which the ambassadors are totally pointless this year, but because they can't. What are they going to do? Are they going to zoom in themselves over conference and say, here, come off stage? They can't do that this year. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they'll present a category. That might be fun. I mean, obviously you want to preserve that more in traditional style for the big stars and stuff, but that might be a way to give them something to do. Otherwise, they're just going to show up and wave the camera for 2 seconds like you're at the at the Critics' Choice, where you win a TV supporting category. You fuckers, I hate that shit. But we'll rag on them later, I'm sure. But it'll be interesting, because they used to. What I was trying to say, the guy made a joke. He's like, "This is usually the time everybody goes to the bathroom." He said it's a bathroom break type speech. So, yeah. All right, I've had enough. We'll see you guys next time.